had at 14 had to do with an after-school program. I basically grew up in them, so I kind of knew how they worked. And I didn't have an education background. I do not have a science background. I do not have any of the businessy, awesome things that people look for on your resume. So basically, like, my hard work and my past jobs, I honestly think is the reason why I got my internship. I had experience. It's your background. It is what you have that brings a little something extra to the table. If everyone had the same major and went to the same job, what makes you stand out? So the one thing I think I'm going to tell you is that don't compare yourself to the guy next to you on what their major is or what they have in their educational background, because if you are the first one that shows up to work for everybody else, if you are willing to come on weekends, if you are willing to show up for events and nobody else is, that says something. And I didn't have the background that was needed for my job, but because I was so adamant about learning and because I was so hardcore about getting jobs done, that it was noticed enough for me to get hired full time. You have to want it, and you literally have to prove yourself. In other words, just make sure that you are confident and you go at it and own what your strengths are. That way, when you get to the job, just because you don't have the skills laid out that they expect you to have, you are more than willing to open up to learn how to do it. And honestly, like, no pathway is straight towards your ending career, whatever you want it to be. It goes in different places and different times and in different areas. So that's all I really got to say. Here you go.
About 18 years of professional work experience, but when I was in undergrad, I didn't do an internship, and the fact that you guys are doing one is very phenomenal. So I really applaud you guys for taking that step. So while you're in that position, I'm recommending that you really take the time to, as you work through your projects, to document and quantify your achievements, because that's going to be very helpful in building your resume. And still along those same lines, to also build your professional portfolio. Sit in on department meetings if you can. You can learn a lot about the people, the operations, and again, more deeper insight into the culture. And even be a silent participant, I would say, on conference calls. Seek feedback. Sometimes maybe your supervisor may not always give feedback, but seek it out, ask for it. Where do you think that you're doing well, or where are the areas of opportunity? I think those are very important things that you want to have that open dialogue with your manager or supervisor.
You just ask questions. I think that's the best thing you can do, and the museum really helps in structuring goals and knowing what you want to achieve, but having that mindset before you start really helps, and keeping track of your portfolio, making sure there's variation. Another point is networking. So networking not within your department, but I mean also within your department, but also outside of your department. I've learned a lot from my coworkers just by conversation, getting advice from their experiences in the professional world. 18 years of professional experience, and I sit next to her every day and learn every day just from what she's done. Be open to talking to new people, learning from different careers.
Important thing that I learned right off the bat: find someone to cling to. You got a busy schedule, they got a busy schedule. When you are in an internship, find a mentor. If it's not your mentor or a supervisor in your department, the go-to person, you have a question, you want to find something new, I'm kind of bored with what I'm doing, what can I do more to expand my knowledge on things? Find a mentor, and never, ever, ever stop being mentored. But you have to continually find someone to learn from. Never stop that.